In this video, we are going to see the pin description of 8051. Pin description of 8051. 8051 is an Intel manufactured generic microcontroller, which is a 40 pin, which is available in the market in variety of packages. One such a package is DIP package. Okay, DIP package. DIP package means dual inline package. 20 pins, as I told you, this 8051 is a 40 pin IC. 20 pins will be there in left hand side and of this notch, and 20 pins will be there in the right hand side of this notch. Okay, two pins are power supply pins. Two pins are power supply pins, VCC and VSS. Okay, VCC and VSS are two power supply pins plus 5 volts power supply you can apply to this particular microcontroller. Okay, and four IO ports, port 0, port 1, port 2, and port 3. So four IO ports will be there to this particular microcontroller. The length of each port is 8 bits. Now 4 8s are 32 pins. 32 pins are IO pins. Port 0 is an 8-bit open drain bidirectional IO port. Port 0 can be used as an IO port, and it is a multiplex lower order address bus and data bus designated as AD0 to AD7. Port 0 works like lower order address bus. Okay, and allowing it to be used for both address bus and data bus. So port 0 can be used as lower order address bus as well as the data bus. And each pin must be connected to externally 10 kilo ohms ohm pull-up resistor. This is due to the fact that P0 is an open drain thing, right? So 8051 is a microcontroller manufactured using MOS technology. That's why port 0 pins are the drain terminals are floated, are open circuited, are requires 10 kilo ohms pull-up resistor because that those pins are open drain pins. Okay, so port 1, this is a 8-bit bidirectional IO port without doesn't require any internal external pull-up resistors. Internal pull-ups are available. You no need to connect any pull-up resistors externally. You can take the data and send the data through this particular port. Port 2. This is an 8-bit bidirectional IO port which doesn't require any pull-up resistors. And this particular port is also called as works like higher order address bus. So port 0 works like lower order address bus. Port 2 works like higher order address bus. Port 2 must be used along with P0 to provide the 16-bit address for external memory access. So because port 2 is higher order address bus, port 0 is a lower order address bus, right? So address is a stream of 16 bits. So lower order address bus is AD0 to AD7, higher order address bus is A8 to A15. Now coming to port 3, this can be used as input output port, but the purpose of this is different. Port 3 also serves the functions of various special features of the microcontroller. They are P3.0 and P3.1 are used for serial communication. P3.2 and 3 are for external interrupts. P3.4 and 5 are used for timers, timer inputs, counter pins, and P3.6 and P3.7 are read or write signals for external memories. And when you want to take the data from an external memory, so that read signal can be extended from P3.7. If you want to write something in the external memory, write signal can be extended with P3.6. So, and coming to XTAL and XTAL2, XTAL1 and XTAL2 pins are the on-chip oscillator pins. So oscillator pins, the quartz crystal should be connected through these two pins to make the microcontroller work efficiently. Okay, so this clock is a signal which should be supplied to this microcontroller in order to make the timer, means many blocks requires the clock signal. So that clock signal will be supplied through these two pins called XTAL1 and XTAL2. We should supply a standard frequency through these two pins. The next pin is the reset pin. Reset is an input pin and high on this pin for 2 machine cycles while the oscillator is running reset on the device. So this is used to reset the microcontroller. What do you mean? But what happens if you reset the microcontroller? If you reset the microcontroller, program counter will be loaded with 0000. Data pointer will be loaded with 0000. Accumulator will be loaded with 0. Program status word will become 0. Stack pointer will be loaded with 07 and B register will be loaded with 00. All the ports will be loaded with FF. Each and every port will have FF. FF means 1111. Again 4 ones. 8 ones will be there on each port. So means each port will work like input port. So these are the things that will happen if you reset the microcontroller. And the next one is EA, external access. This is an input pin and must be connected to VCC or ground. If you connect it to the ground, it means you are accessing the data or the code available in the external memory. If it is EA is connected to VCC, so you are not accessing any external code. You're not accessing anything from external devices. PSEN, program store enable. This is an output pin. This pin is connected to OE. So OE means output enable pin of the ROM IC. ROM or RAM will be available in the form of ICs in the market. So ROM IC will have output enable as one of the pins. So that particular pin will have the connection with program store enable. So when EA pin is connected to ground, 8051 or 8031 fetches, means it gets the code from the ROM from the external device using this pin called as program store enable pin. So means quite a good relation will be there with EA and PSN. Okay, so ALE, address latch enable. This is an output pin and indicates and it is an active hyphen. It is used to demultiplexing the address and data bus. So means mainly to separate the or mainly to use the same bus as a address bus or as well as data bus. If ALE, if you see the status on this particular pin, if ALE is equal to 0, which means you have to understand the content available on port 0 is the data byte. If AL is equal to 1, you have to understand that the microcontroller is using the lower order, means that port 0 as the lower order address bus. So these are the various pins of the microcontroller, which is 8051 microcontroller. 4 832 IO pins, which are having dual functions, and 2 power supply pins. The next one is reset. The next one is XTAL1, XTAL2 are the clock pins, external access and address latch enable and program store enable. So these are the various pins of the microcontroller. I hope you got an idea about the functionality of each and every pin of this 8051 microcontroller. Thank you very much.